Thank you very much indeed, Presiding Officer. And let me start by congratulating the Cabinet Secretary and local councils on what has, over the years, been a very effective collaboration, despite the variety of political views and objectives that are captured by all the councils and by this chamber. In Scotland, we actually have the lowest number of elected politicians of any country in Europe, at 33.5. South of the border, it's about 42. You go up to Greece, it's 660. And I'm not advocating any change one way or the other. But I think what it does illustrate that we actually expect a great deal of our councils and of our councillors. And I think the overwhelming majority of councillors serve without thought of self-interest, work hours which would be hardly contemplatable if you were to look at the minimum wage. So I think we're very fortunate in all political parties in the broad sweep of the councillors we have. Willie Rennie, who is not with us at the moment, talked about Aberdeen. I noted that he did not choose to talk about Aberdeenshire. Aberdeenshire Council, which is Tory-led in partnership with the Lib Dems and an assorted group, well, the word group is hardly appropriate, of independents, ferrets in a sack comes more to it. Massive underspends in Aberdeenshire, tens of millions in consecutive years, undermining fatally any arguments for increases in resources, but more fundamentally, because of that underspend by Liberals and Tories in administration, cutting services unnecessarily in relation to the funding that they have. In particular, I think the removal of wardens from many of our sheltered housings are particularly resented by my constituents. There are individual councillors who do not rise to the individual challenge, and I'm going to take the opportunity of naming one in my constituency because of his running failure to earn his keep, and that is Councillor Alan Buchan, now a vice-convener in the administration, who, in the most important economic environment that we have, the Energetica corridor, cannot even bring it to his heart when he's leading a delegation to meet the people in the Energetica corridor to stay with the pack and stay with it. And I think it's time that that councillor in particular looked at his own performance, and the council leadership looked at that too. Now, there are some interesting things that have happened. I think we've seen an agreement to maintain teacher numbers in line with pupil numbers in councils. That's entirely welcome. Lewis MacDonald has, as he has in the past, made reference to funding for different councils. I'm slightly surprised that we haven't had a reminder, so let me make it that, of course, Labour, in essence, control COSLA. They can change the formula. I encourage them to look at doing so. I just close, Presiding Officer, by looking at perhaps one thing from the numbers in the letter that the Cabinet Secretary has produced, and that is to look at PFI and loan charges, where for Glasgow City, long run by the Labour Party, they account for nearly 10% of the updated service provision, quite out of line with any other mainland council. The island council's in a different position, different circumstances. So I think, particularly for the Labour Party, they need to look a little closer to home for effective administration. Presiding Officer, I joined the committee in September 2012 that's responsible for local authority. Very much enjoy being there, and I expect that we will see more support for councils. That committee will work on behalf of councils with the government, as we always do.